Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today, we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. We're going to work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'm going to give my financial opinion across the board here. If you guys are interested in joining out of the community, you can check out finding-value.com. We do have a question and answer session at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Sunday here. So let's dive in. I'm going to go real quick through everything. Maybe not as in depth as I normally do. We'll kind of step on and highlight the big things. And let me know if you guys like me just highlighting and kind of skipping over, or if you like me going in depth. But please put that in the comments section. So just going through it real quick, we've got a increasing dollar today, and we've got decreasing yields. And these yields do look like they want to roll over and turn back lower. So we've got TNX doing that, TYX, which is the 10-year yield going down, and the 30-year yield going down. Now, I think that rates are going to remain elevated for a period of time due to the housing market and the strength in the housing market. TYX TNX ratio. This ratio is the 30-year divided by the 10-year. When it goes up, gold goes up. Right now, we just had a little bit of kind of a bottoming type pattern here the past week or two, where this could potentially start to head up. So that what that means is that the yield curve's uninverting, and we could see strength in precious metals prices coming up. We could also see the DXY go sideways to slightly lower, but again, that's not confirmed. We're just kind of looking at the charts, seeing if that is what potentially could happen. Bond prices heading a little bit higher, but again, we're stuck in this sideways pattern, trampoline jumping, going sideways. Gold is lower. We had a stronger dollar with lower yields. That stronger dollar is pinning it against its support area. So that's up against support. And that support level is this guy coming across. It's also this guy going across here. Silver. Silver does look like we could potentially head lower. Big selling pressure, kind of a flag pattern. Big selling pressure, and it looks like it wants to roll on over. So I do think that silver could potentially go to the downside in the very near term. Platinum still heading a little bit lower, but it looks like we're trying to firm up a little bit here. We'll see. But again, there's a lot of momentum heading lower. I'd like to see some strength. If you're a long-term investor, well, we're kind of at support here. Going across, I'd probably be checking it out. That's what I would be doing. XE to gold ratio heading a little bit lower, still getting some weakness in the gold markets and the gold and silver mining companies. We have not broken out of the long-term downtrend yet. CRB, commodity index, chopping low or just chopping. Chop, 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 doesn't know which way it wants to go. The CRB to S&P 500 is still in a downtrend, heading lower, and that is at some point going to be the bottom of wave 2, wherever that is. It'll be the top of whatever the stock market is. GDX down 1.45%. That looks like it could continue lower with the momentum it's got. GDXJ doing the same thing. SILJ also heading lower. We've got crude oil up 2.22%, bouncing off support. Every time we've gotten down here, we've gotten support. Will that support hold? Are we knocking on the door to break down that support to head lower? Difficult to say. It's possible we get a washout sale, get down into the low 60s or whatnot, or maybe even into the 50s on a last leg washout sale where it fakes everyone out into a slingshot cheetah pattern. Natural gas down 4%. That does look like we could head lower. That is a bearish engulfing. It's this guy engulfing the ones before it, which generally indicates a short-term top, and we could head a little bit lower in the short term. XOP, yeah, you know me, still heading higher, and it looks like we could continue to the upside. We've broken the downtrend line. We've done this retest type pattern. We could go on up. OIH, still looking good. Broken the downtrend, still above its trend line up here. Still looks like we could grind higher. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust down 1.75%, getting a little bit more selling pressure here. This could extend a little bit further in the short term to the downside. We're looking for it to hold around 1650. The equities, looks like there's positioning in the equities. So maybe the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust is just They're selling the physical to take big positions in the equities. Maybe, maybe not. But this looks good to go higher. I mean, maybe we could go a little bit lower, but this is a back test to a breakout of this trend line. So that does look like we could grind our way on up eventually. URNJ also coming back doing a retest, and we could head higher here. TAN, 0.62% higher. This still has a little bit of selling pressure right before it. Dead period before that. The buyers are equaling the sellers right where we're at. They could push this either direction. If I were to take a guess, slightly lower before heading higher. COPX, still bouncing sideways inside of this channel. No updates really there. Lithium down 0.27%. This is breaking a pattern to the upside, a falling wedge. That's going to work its way to the upside. Looks good. REMX is doing the same thing. It was down today, 1.66%. But if we see a break here, we could see a break of this falling wedge to the upside. S&P 500. Where are you going? This is a bloody nose. It still could continue higher. Looks good. Bigger buying pressure, smaller selling pressure. Generally works its way on up. NASDAQ up 0.27%. Again, it's like the S&P. We could grind our way on up, potentially. And remember, I'm in the camp where this is a top, and we could get some sort of top somewhere, wherever it's going to top out at, and potentially go lower. EEM, emerging markets, doing a little bit of a retest there, still holding on. I think this will work its way on up as soon as rates go down and the dollar goes down. XHB, the home builders, bloody nose. It looks like it wants to continue higher. Lots of these patterns are breaking to the upside in the individual companies. MOO, also moving higher. We've got lots of buying pressure, small selling pressure. I think we're going to move on up. That looks good. Copper down. Now this is interesting. Copper getting a little bit more selling pressure. Copper is Dr. Copper. It's a index or a gauge of what the economy is doing. This heads on lower, we could see a slowdown in the markets. Iron ore is still hanging on. I think that's going to head on up. We've broken the falling wedge. Still looks good to go higher. Nickel moving sideways. It does look like it wants to break to the downside. That's very well possible. Aluminum down 0.81%. I know we were up yesterday. Is this a bloody nose or we got more sideways action? We're at support. We'll find out. Baltic Dry Index down a little bit today. Still looks good to me for a move on higher. Sideways to higher. Newcastle Coal is grinding sideways. Give it some time. We're basing out. Ethereum down 0.8%. And we're right at that resistance trend line. Bitcoin also down a little bit, but still looks good to go higher over the longer term. Could we get a little bit of a reversal move here? Yes, we could. But that's what we've got for today, guys. Kind of went through it kind of fast. See if you guys like it a little bit quicker. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. We do have a platinum question and answer session at 5 p.m. Sunday. And right now, everything's just kind of moving sideways. So just wait. See what you like. If things get a little bit cheaper, then I'll just continue to cost average in. The market conditions of housing remain firm. We have to watch those housing starts. If they continue higher, generally that's a tailwind for inflation. Problem is, what's going to trip up people? People are going to get tripped up here because housing starts will go up, and then they're not going to directly see inflation immediately. Inflation from the M2 money supply takes 12 to 18 months to work its way through the system. We've had a decline in the M2 money supply. 12 to 18 months after that decline, which we're in right now, is the slowdown. So we're going to have to wait. That's going to kick back on. If it does kick back on, we'll watch it. If it kicks back on and we get more loaning, more construction employment, all that stuff, which is not a recession, that means that the bad part is behind us, and we just have to basically get through some of the data that looks kind of nasty. The markets are forward-looking, and they're going to look at that stuff, and they're 12 to 18 months forward-looking for the most part. But that's what I've got for today. That's all I've got. So we'll catch you guys later. This is Finding Value.